that's what Shane Waldron is being tasked with doing. And he's never officially been an offensive coordinator before, though he was the passing game coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams with Sean McVay last year. My answer to that question, no, it's not realistic. That's the key word here. Is it realistic for that to be a marked improvement from a year that you saw last season with Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to next? Now, with the way that things ended last year, I suppose it's realistic if you're going to judge the offense that you saw based off of the end as opposed to the entirety. But there will be struggles. There will be hiccups. And as I work on this piece that's taken me way too much time to put together because I'm not very good with Excel and I'm learning out how to use Excel on the fly more. I don't know if you've ever used Microsoft Excel. It is a very difficult app, but I'm not a mathematical person.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where even if you start to kind of get used to it, if you don't use it for a while, like I forgot everything that I learned.
I'm consistently going to Google to say, how do you do this? How do you do that? But at the very least, what I've seen, and I looked at basically 37 coordinator changes over the last 10 years with quarterbacks that we would qualify as good. And I took a look at the yards per attempt from the year before the new coordinator came in to the next. And the difference, again, we're talking usually a difference of about 2 yards or so, the wide variance of yards per attempt. Occasionally you'll see 9. At the low end, it's around 6. It was a negative number. And if we're looking at what effect a new offensive coordinator can have on a quarterback, you could also take a look at a year that I think we all forget, 2015. Kyle Shanahan's first year as offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons. You might not remember that year. It was actually a bit of a struggle for Matt Ryan that season. 21 touchdown passes, 16 interceptions. The next year, he wins MVP. A new offense takes time to learn. And while I don't want to make too much out of what I'm hearing from DK Metcalf, it does sound at the very least like they are being introduced to concepts that in the past were foreign to them on offense. Here's DK.
It's a lot of different kinds of routes that people haven't seen from either team that he's coached. So I'm just excited to get to work with him and get to hone in on those other skills.
Routes that no one has seen before, if you want to take it that far, that doesn't really exist in the NFL. But it sounds like they are reinventing the wheel a bit. These guys are NFL players. They've played football. I'm sure that they're going to be able to pick it up. I would have liked them to be there a little bit earlier to pick it up, but whatever. I'm sure they will be able to pick it up at some point. But installing this offense, it's going to be difficult, and Shane Waldron is being tasked with doing something that he has not done before. Maybe he's a prodigy, but do you think Shane Waldron's a potential prodigy like we have seen coming out of that Mike Shanahan coaching tree? Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Zach Taylor, Mike LaFleur now. He's the offensive coordinator with the New York Jets. Shane Waldron. All of these guys have worked together before. They can't all work out, and we're seeing with Zach Taylor, maybe that's not working out. Things are pretty good with Matt LaFleur thus far. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. Does this concept just work anywhere? If it does, great. I mean, that would be awesome news for the Seahawks. I'm just a little skeptical on that front. And I think as far as being realistic to expect a significant improvement from the first-year offensive coordinator, I don't know. Maybe in the second year, we're talking about a totally different thing. First year, I have some questions.